Good morning, medical interventions students. Wow, I can't believe we're here again with quarantine and everybody kind of at home. So it's going to be okay. So I'm going to get down to telling you quickly what you need to be working on today. I'm not really throwing too much extra at you today because we're all kind of getting our bearings with this. And I know a lot of you don't have your materials, and that's fine. You're only going to need internet access and your Chromebook. Is going to try to make everything as digitally friendly as possible going forward until we come back, which I'm very hopeful we will be back here in person after Thanksgiving. There is a lab and things that we're going to have to do virtually while we're out, but we will do it in person when we come back. So we'll kind of move more quickly through that than we normally would, but later we can catch up and do those because I think it's important for you to do those skills. So I'm really hoping that you won't miss out on too much. We're just going to be moving some things forward that we can do easily this way. So let's talk about what you need to do. First of all, it is really important to understand this is not the same thing as we had in March and April and May. You are expected to absolutely turn everything in. You are expected to be proactive in getting online and being as available as possible. So that's a high school wide thing. This is not the same as our earlier quarantine where your grade can't go down. Well, we don't really have a grade. We just started. So we are progressing, and we need to make these days as meaningful as possible. So make sure you're prepared. I want you, and I think basically you should have the understanding that you're going to follow your school day. So if I have you either first period, or if I have you fourth period, or the group that meets during SRT, you should be available at the start of each of those times for a Zoom meeting if possible. If you are digitally, if you have connectivity issues and you can't get to those times, and you can't I'm fine if you don't have to necessarily participate in the Zoom. If you can listen on a phone, download the Zoom app on the phone and just listen to the audio. If you or just watch the video. If you don't have that capability, that's fine too, because I will be posting a screencast similar to this, a video like this every day that will explain what to do. So if you obviously the Zoom meeting is going to be a lot better because you can ask questions and you can hear other questions, and you're welcome to collaborate with each other virtually as well, and FaceTime and things like that. So what it is, be creative. Maybe you don't have good connectivity, but maybe your FaceTime works and your friend is in the class and you FaceTime with them while you Zoom if you have to. But my guess is if you can do FaceTime or one of those kinds of things, you could probably Zoom at least that way. So do the best you can with that. There may be some availability, hopefully, for some of the building to be open in the future if needed for students that don't have good connectivity, but that's still yet to be decided. So really try to make as good of a plan as possible and be available for your school day and treat each day like it's a school day. You're just at home and you're going to go through each period. I will be available during that time, during your class period, the entire time, but I will not be talking the entire time. I would guess maybe 10 minutes or so of instruction each day, and then you'll have work time. So good thing is you shouldn't have extra time outside of the school day time period. So all right, so let's get down to what I need you guys to be doing and how we can make the best of this going forward. So you'll see this module at the top of your account. I'll go to student view so you can see it. So BCHS 2020-21 school-wide remote learning. And so what I'm going to do is day by day, and I haven't published this yet because the one for today is not done because it's going to have this video in it, and I can't publish a video while I'm doing it. That makes sense. So you will have this module. That's where you need to look first. If you've been absent or quarantined, kind of ignore these at this point. All right, and stay and focus up here. Just a second. Let me switch this. So you'll click on this first link, and it will have some information. I can just show you what that looks like here today. And so right here, there will be a video posted. Basically, this video will be posted today. There will also be a Zoom link posted for every day as well. But there will be one Zoom link. So once you get the Zoom link, I'm going to send the Zoom link in tomorrow's, in actually this actual assignment here a little bit later today. I'm going to add that in there. So once you get that Zoom link, and then I will also send class emails. So it's really, really important. You check Canvas, you check your emails, and do that consistently, and then you will stay caught up on things, and be proactive as possible. Communicate with me if you're having issues with things. So I'm really, really want to help you out and make this as good an experience as possible. So to talk about the actual coursework and where we've been and where we're going, and since we've had people out, just want to kind of review everything for just a second. So we started this course talking about the outbreak. So I'm going to switch over to this tab, and actually to the workbook. So we had our workbook that we've gone through so far. I think if you don't have a login yet and a password, especially those remote people, let me know. I think I sent it to you, and hopefully you've been able to get on. So we did this inventory, medical interventions, different types of medical interventions, and categorized them. We read about the Smith family, talked a little bit about that, and then we got into this outbreak. And so if you have not done so already, if you missed some time, once again, the investigated outbreak, we looked at, is it not scrolling for me? Let me refresh this. We looked at the Smith family and looked at Sue in particular. There we go. And we saw this outbreak resource sheet. And you read through there. You should have read through there all the individuals, Sue, Jill, Anthony, Wanda, Maggie, Maria, and Arnie, and made a concept map kind of connecting all of them together as is described in here. We were looking at the risk factors, lifestyle factors, and you're going to make a graphic organizer for that. Most of you have done that. If you have done that, that is to be turned in. Let me go back to student view. That is to be turned in right here, 112 and 113 concept map. Several of you have turned that in already, so that's awesome if you've done that. So you're connecting, but remember, there's two other individuals from 113, so I'll talk about that in just a second. So, and that so you're taking notes over those individuals that are listed in this resource sheet. You're taking notes over them here, and then you'll add in Marco and Alvin, who are the other two, and so you'll need to download this and make a copy. By the way, this workbook is located in Canvas right here, 1.1 workbook. Okay, and I'll put links into things. As I add things into Canvas, I'll put links to them in this remote learning section so that you can just click on them and access them that way. I know some of you had trouble getting access to the 1.1 workbook. Some of you have been on remote, and I think I've corrected that. So please let me know if you're still unable to get into it. So that workbook is located here. What you should do is just download that and make a digital copy of it, so then you can edit it and add and type things into it. Okay, so fill this table out, and then this could be a place. I don't think you necessarily need to do it here or at this point because you're just going to take a picture of it. So maybe make that concept map, a graphic organizer on a sheet of paper. It should show connections between the individuals, their connections of how they've contacted each other, as well as what symptoms they have and any other specific risk factors. And yesterday we did some brainstorming of different ideas of what it could be. We had a lot of people with the flu. We had talked about it could be influenza, it could be mononucleosis, it could be an upper respiratory infection. We had meningitis as an example. There were a few more that came up, bronchitis, common cold, lots of different topics or possibilities that we came up with. Additionally, strep throat. So we're trying to figure out now what is the particular pathogen that's causing this problem in this outbreak in the college campus. So we understand Sue's undergoing some difficulties with that. So in order to best identify it, we're going to try to identify the pathogen by looking at the DNA of the pathogen, not the DNA of the person supporting. Now, yes, we're going to get this DNA from Sue and from Marco and from Alvin and Maria and all the people, but we're not looking at their DNA. We're going to be looking at the DNA of the pathogen. Okay. So if we go back to here, I'll go to 113, using DNA to identify pathogens. Okay, and so this is that activity. Read through here, and there's some information. So where we got to on this yesterday, first of all, we looked at day 2, outbreak investigation day 2, and we see Marco and Alvin and more information about Sue. So make sure you add that to your concept map before you turn it in. Okay, so make sure Marco and Alvin are in there, and this new information about Sue is in there. Okay, and try to get that to me by the end of the week if you're not done so already. Yeah, I'm gonna be pretty gracious and flexible with due dates and everything. So, but try your best you can to stay up to date. If you can get things done the day that they're assigned and turn them in, that's just going to help you. And don't use this. Try not to use this as an excuse to put things off. The more proactive you can be, the better. So I know you guys, you're bright people and you can do this. So make sure you're taking care of things and not, find a way to make connections and get this work done. Because the saying it's not available is not going to work for you. All right. But if we go down here and we look at DNA, using DNA to identify pathogens, we have our introduction. Read through that introduction, and then you're going to fill out these boxes with that. There's 4 terms here that you'll look at. Fill those 4 terms out, define those. And then we get into DNA sequencing notes. And so that's here. And so where I basically want you to get today is we're trying to identify the DNA of the pathogen. Okay, so you'll watch the DNA sequencing video, and so here's the video that you'll watch, and it talks through the process of how you identify a DNA sequence. And so watch that video and fill out the bottom half of page 9, all of page 10, and all of page 11 using that information from the video. Okay. And that's basically where I'd like you to get to going into tomorrow. If you don't have all that done, that's fine, but that's going to get you caught up, because the next thing we're going to be doing is looking at this DNA sequence and analyzing it. And I'll explain that in detail tomorrow during the Zoom and also on the screencast. So my screencast will be pretty short and to the point. So if you have questions and things like that, you're going to get the best experience if you can be on the Zoom. So I would encourage you to make that happen if at all possible. And about the Zoom meetings, it's really important to get this. Your Zoom meeting is going to happen. I think I said this already, but just double check. So first period students, your Zoom meeting is you should be on at 8:20. Fourth period students, you should be on at 11:35. And SRT students, you should be on at about 1:15. All right, 1:10 to 1:15, somewhere in there. And that would be the 4 of you who are doing the independent study for medical interventions. Okay, so be on at that time. I'll send out I will send this out specific in email, and I will put that on Canvas. So there will be specific. The links will be specific to the class period. So medical interventions people that have it first and fourth, you will have other students from the other classes that are in that section, like the BI or the HBS students that are in that class. They will also be on there, so it's just like a normal class where I'll be telling you to do some things and then be telling them to do some things. But be on there at the beginning of that time period. So I'm sorry, you first period people know, sleeping in till 10 o'clock is not going to be a good solution for you. So get online and be ready to go, and we'll get through this together. So, all right, so once again, to reiterate, go to Canvas first, check this every day, check your email every day, download this and digitally have a copy that you can fill in. And any drawings or anything that you might have to do, you can draw them on paper, take a picture, and insert them into the document. And I'm going to try to break that big document down into smaller documents so that you can just download a little bit and turn the whole thing back in. So I'll work on that as we go. And if there's anything to do to help you, if there's anything that is unclear, please let me know. And make sure you get this concept map turned in as soon as you can. And just enjoy the experience here, make the best of it. And I'm really hopeful that we'll be back again after Thanksgiving and just take care of business as usual. So that's all I have. Take care and let me know what I can do to help. Thank you.